What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Lonnie Reacts, and today we are back with another reaction video. Today we'll be reacting to History or History by Antonio Talks. Really good YouTuber. I'm subscribed to one of his accounts. He has multiple of them. But yeah, History or His Story. It's definitely his story. A lot of things about history it's written from somebody else point of view. For example, how we view Carthage, the Carthaginians, is from the Romans, who were at war with these people for centuries. Um, a lot of history, a lot of shit that we know about history, it's heavily distorted. It's falsified. A lot of the shit that people teach is falsified. It isn't true. If you know me, you know I'm a history junkie. You know I love history, and I love just diving deep into the realm of history. Is just so much about it. Art history, film history, everything about history. I love it. But with that being said, I don't have too much to say, man. Let's just jump into this video.
So we are living in a very anti-intellectual time period, and with
Yep.
me, I want to stay as intellectual as possible.
Mhm.
Talking about a topic, I want to have sources to back it up, news, article, things of that nature. This is why it was so hard for me to get behind the whole "Black people were from America" thing. Now I did a video a few months ago
Like,
talking about the
this is so insane to me. People will do anything to dodge their African heritage. There's nothing wrong with being African. Your ancestors were highly advanced. Your ancestors made impluvium and compluvium systems to capture and store rainwater for drinking and bathing and other things. Your ancestors made these ditches, these pits, thousands of feet, not thousands, but hundreds of feet deep to store rainwater for drinking and other things. Bro, your ancestors were highly advanced, bro. Your ancestors made roads made out of potsherd to even filter rainwater. And not filter rainwater, but excuse me, like traffic rainwater into ditches. Bro, like, your ancestors were highly advanced. Don't be afraid to be African. It's so insane. It's so insane to me what people will do. And I will say there have been a lot of black figures in just the historical space itself. Um just Baltazar is a prime example off the top of my head. One of the three kings who the three wise men. A lot of you probably know who that is. Abu Hassan Ali Ben Nafi, Zaryab. There have been a lot of black historical figures in history. Um, but you yourself, you don't come from those regions. You come from the motherland, and it's okay to be from the motherland. And I'm sorry for the yapathon, but it's
pretending. And I
facts.
feel like I went too hard on them. What you'll realize is that, man, as black people, especially black Americans, in school, they really only teach us about slavery. They never really teach us about,
Like,
civilizations that were thriving back
literally
in
only
Africa,
slavery.
Nubia, the Moors, Kush Kingdom. Like, there was
And
great.
one thing, the Moors. I'm sorry for yapping so much, but a lot of people don't understand what the Moors were. The Moor itself is just the term Europeans used to describe Muslim inhabitants of Iberia or Al-Andalus. That was what Muslim Spain, Muslim Iberia itself was called. This was like Europe's cultural renaissance, the first renaissance, I believe, for Europe. The Moors, they came and they reinstalled so much culture. And like I said, Abu Hassan Ali Ben Nafi or Zaryab, he was a Moor. He was a black man. Who an Afro-Iraqi man to be exact. He was from Baghdad. He had page parents under the Caliph Al Musif Al Mustin, something like that. I can't think of his name. But he traveled to Spain and he introduced so many things like the fifth string to the oud. He introduced so many fruits. He introduced the metallic cup, introducing uh he introduced the metallic cup, replacing like he, fuck. He introduced the crystal glass cups, replacing metallic. Excuse me. I'm sorry for all of that. But yeah, he basically revolutionized Europe, and there were so many other figures, black figures, but most Moors themselves were Arab or North African, but there were many black Moors, and the reason, I believe the reason that Moors themselves are so synonymous with black people is because the most famous Moors themselves were black, or had black heritage. Honestly, in my opinion.
And this is my whole problem with the theory that, black people were the real Native Americans, we were the real this, we were the real that. It diminishes the factual evidence
Like it does.
that we actually were.
Literally.
History
Benin
is very
Kingdom.
subjective. Like, we
Benin
really
Walls.
don't know if it's actually true. History is in the word. His story. It's mainly only told through the eyes of the victors. And if we look back through the past couple hundreds of years, the victors have not looked like us. So, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Like this nigga right here popped up in the social studies book.
Yo, I remember
Yeah, man, I was like, these folks full of
He used
shit.
to draw.
Like, they just
And I remember this book. Like, bro, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing, bro? We have pictures of what the Romans painted these people, bro. Matter of fact, I can look up a picture. The Romans painted these people. The Romans painted Egyptians, Arabs, Asians. Like, bro. Hopefully I can find this picture, bro. I have to find this picture, bro. Here we go. This is a Roman painting of an Egyptian, right? Okay. Visibly black, as you can see. Roman painting of an Arab. Visibly lighter, as you can see. Roman painting of themselves. A little lighter than the Arab, as you can see. Are you not understanding the difference? This is the Romans painted this. It's like people will do anything in reality to ignore this and just try to move around it. Like it's so insane to me. We're not about to do that, bro. The Greeks, hell, the Romans themselves wrote about what these people look like. Thick noses, big lips, thick hair, thick coiled hair. Like this is what these people said about them. Like, hell, they said they derived from Ethiopians. Ethiopia in ancient Greek was just the term that to describe the lands beyond Egypt, basically like Sudan or Nubia, all of those lands south, etc. Like, they telling you that these people derive from Ethiopians. They derive from those people south of Egypt. It like,
man,
but people will ignore it.
even as a kid, man, I knew something was right about this nigga, man. These folks done put Tom Cruise.
Nah, that's Mark Wahlberg.
Man,
Blue eyes.
Like, bro, them folks playing in our face, bro. This shit ain't make no damn sense, bro. Like, I used to always look at this picture like, bro, come on, man. Who the fuck is this nigga, man?
Although this is funny, man, this is like really what happens throughout history. Now there's a whole argument where people are saying
the original We Was
Egypt wasn't
Kings.
considered Africa. It was north of Africa. This argument is so stupid because, bro, it's Africa. And even if you want to play that game,
Bro, North
Nubians
Africa is
at one
Africa.
point in time ruled over Egypt. Nubians, they are sub-Saharan Africa. You know what I'm saying? They
I hate when people try to like, differentiate between North Africa and the rest of Africa. You could easily just do the rest from Southern Europe and the rest of Europe. That's what I do. Like, that's what I do because historically, nowhere near closely related. Those Northern Europeans, they were there for thousands of years. Those Southern Europeans, they migrated there a few thousand years ago from the East, actually, and Asia. Those Africans, they've been there for thousands of years. Closely related. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what goes through the mind of some people, but, it's clearly not right.
are very dark-skinned people. They look like me and you. I really hate how Egypt is over, glorified. We had the Kingdom of Kush.
And yes, even then, before Egypt, it was Tusseti. Tusseti was an ancient Nubian kingdom that predates the Pharaonic dynasty by at least 700 years. By at least 700 years. We don't know too much about Tusseti because the flooding of the Aswan Dam in the 1950s, I believe. This flooding, like, a lot of the settlement itself, which was buried under sand, it's underwater now. So, like, it's sad, bro. But yeah, most people don't know about this. And the unification of Egypt itself began with the conquest of Tusseti.
The Moors. These civilizations were, black people that they really can't even debate
And yeah,
about. So
one thing
that's-
I keep yapping, I know, but this is a very intellectual video and a very intellectual conversation that people who watch this type of stuff have. The Moors, there's no such thing as a Moor as an empire. As I said, Moor is just the term that Europeans would call these Muslim inhabitants of the Iberian Peninsula, which was Al-Andalus at the time, or Muslim Spain. These it were Muslim empires like the Almoravids, the Umayyads, the Almohads, the Idrisids. They weren't called the Moors. It was different empires who were called the Moors themselves. Like I just stated, the Almoravids, the Almohads, the Idrisids, all of that, the Umayyads, etc. In fact, the Umayyads are one of my favorite empires of all time. Really underrated empire. A lot of those early Muslim empires are very underrated, in my opinion.
like they don't even bring them up.
If I ask you to picture a desert covered in more than 200 pyramids, I'm willing to bet your mind goes straight to Egypt.
Nubia.
But what if I told you that the largest collection of pyramids on Earth is actually in the neighboring country of Sudan, or as it was known at the time, Nubia? So I just want to warn you that this is going to be like a 5 or 6 part video.
That's why I say I want y'all to go do your own research. Like when y'all done this video, look into all of these great civilizations that were in Africa that they don't talk about.
There's 9 distinct periods, and each one of those periods is broken into Upper, Lower Nubia, and then the Egyptian influence, and each one of those is again broken into groups A, B, and C, which denominate which people were moving with. So this is a lot. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to break this down into 5 main periods, but I am going to have to skip some information here, or this will be a lifetime's work. So today we're going to talk about the origins of the civilization and what's called the pre-Kerma period, and this dates from about 8,500 BCE to about...
I hope he talks about the city, if he knows about it.
Of the next 5 or so videos, I'll address
Because that was literally the unification of Egypt. Nubia and Egypt at one point were just simply one. Well, I shouldn't say Nubia and Egypt, because Tassedi itself is what we would call Lower Egypt. That was Tassedi, Lower Egypt. That's where a lot of Egyptian culture itself, as we know it, comes from. That Lower Egypt region. That's where the first Nubian kingdom would have came from. It predates the Pharaonic dynasties itself, and that's how the Pharaonic dynasties itself started, with the conquest of this kingdom.
Separately. For those who don't know where Sudan is, or Nubia as it was known then, it's right below Egypt. So this is Egypt, this is Lower and Upper Nubia. So evidence tells us that by 8,500 BCE, Nubia was mostly occupied by nomadic cattle herders that formed a complex cartoon culture, producing some of the most sophisticated, stylized, and some of the oldest pottery on Earth. Take a look at this stuff. It's very distinct, it's very stylized, there's even combs and stuff up here, and like honestly, this is an entire video on its own talking about cartoon pottery. If you do want to learn more, pause the video and check out this paper. It's pretty comprehensive, it's recent, and it's a brilliant paper. Anyway, by 5000 BCE, these people participated in what's known as the Neolithic Revolution, which is a widespread transition of human societies across the world from hunting and gathering to farming, domestication of plants and animals, and permanent settlement that we see in the archaeological record all around the same time. At this time, they also constructed what is potentially one of the oldest astronomical devices on Earth in the form of this reconstructed calendar stone circle at Nabta Playa. Because this is so long ago, we don't know too much about this culture, except for the cartoon pottery, of course, but biological anthropologists have studied the remains of these people and have concluded that the crania of pre-dynastic Egyptians are most closely aligned with those of ancient Nubians and Saharans than anywhere else. So that gives you an idea of how closely related these people are to the Egyptians and vice versa.
Now this is just one civilization. This is Nubia. Africa is huge. Even the way that they put Africa on the map in school, or even the map in general.
And honestly, it's really just simply due to the globe. It has to be a world globe. Africa is big as hell. Africa is extremely big. But you can't really get the curvature of the earth on one picture. If you did, it wouldn't really be accurate to how big the countries genuinely are. If you know what I'm saying. So that's why you always would need actually like a real globe of the world to see just how big these continents are.
It's very misleading. Africa is way bigger than what they show it out to be.
One of the most horrific crimes of the 20th century is what King Leopold of Belgium did to the people of the Congo. Between 1885 and 1908,
most people don't even know about this.
Forces would unalive an estimated 10 million Congolese.
Yes.
Which is just under the number of people who were unalived in the Holocaust, and actually 60% greater than the number of Jewish people who were unalived.
Right. I recently made a community post about this devil right here, man, King Leopold II, right? Probably the most evil man in history. It's crazy how I never heard about this man in school. You know what I'm saying? 10 million of people that look like me he killed. And the way that he went about killing these people, if they didn't meet quotas, he would chop their hands off, little children, you know. But they love to force feed this Holocaust, you know, this shit that happened in Germany down our throats. Oh, the mustache man, he the most evil man in history. Why?
Hell no.
It's the victim. You know what I'm saying? That's why I never, you know what I'm saying, bro?
And the Holocaust was bad. Don't get me wrong. It was bad, but we can't ignore shit that was much worse. Like, I'm sorry. Hell, the gas chambers itself was pioneered on black people. The French would place Haitians into under ships basically, and they'd store sulfur under these ships, and they'd basically suffocate these Haitians, bro. Like, that's the origins of real gas chambers. I swear to God, the French pioneered it in Haiti. There's been so much horrific shit done to my people, bro. And they're not gonna teach you about it. You have to learn it yourself. So much.
Bad for what happened to Charlie Kirk. When it's a white person, they want you to feel a lot of sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he had a family, he had a wife and kids. Okay, you know, evil people can have wives. Good people have wives. When they killed Malcolm X and MLK, he had a wife, he had a family. Y'all didn't care about that. Why should I care about this man? It's because of the narrative.
They also killed his mother. It's Martin Luther King's mother. A lot of people don't know about that. They killed his mother, his brother.
They want you to feel bad, and I just can't, because it's people throughout history that was doing shit like this and we just forgot about it. I recently learned about this shit, bro.
Belgian colonizers also committed horrific crimes, like cutting off the hands of those who didn't harvest rubber fast enough. Yet almost all Americans and Europeans know about the Holocaust, but don't know about what happened in the Congo. So why is that? Well, for one, and this is the most simple answer, racism. What the colonial powers used to...
You know what I'm saying, bro? I get a lot of people calling me racist. I am not racist. Shout out to dudes like this. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of white people.
Shout out to a lot of white people who will actually teach history the way it is, bro. Like, shout out to y'all for real, bro, because so many will just lie about it. So many people in general will lie about history, lie about dumb shit. Why are you lying? Or just be disingenuous.
That's all we want. That's all I be saying. Like, racism, it thrives when you don't acknowledge it. You don't talk about it. So I love seeing, you know what I'm saying, white men talking about it, like other ethnicity talking about it, because y'all like, you know, y'all helping out. You know what I'm saying? I am not racist at all. I gotta always bring that up. So bro, I had somebody call me a black supremacist. That's crazy.
A black supremacist is crazy.
No, I'm just playing. I'm not a black supremacist. I love everybody. Shout out to this brother right here.
Racism to justify their colonialism? No way. At the time, you were allowed to colonize other countries and unalive their people en masse, so long as you were doing it in Africa or Latin America. Once that same murderous colonial attitude was turned towards Europeans, go figure, they didn't like it that much.
Nah.
The other reason why we all know about the Holocaust but not King Leopold is a little more shocking. It's actually because of Zionism, the ideology underpinning the State of Israel. I almost didn't believe this when I first read it, but in the early 1950s, most Americans did not even know that the Holocaust happened. It hadn't yet been widely reported on or thoroughly investigated, and it certainly wasn't being taught in school as it is today.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Hello? Yes, some more, yeah. Yeah, yes. Bye. I apologize, y'all.
Zionist organizations began spending millions and millions of dollars pushing Holocaust education in the West, which would be fine, except they only did this to justify the existence of the apartheid state of Israel and the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. You've all heard this argument before. The Jews faced repression in the Holocaust and other historical events, so therefore they need their own ethno-state where they can be safe. Even if that means ethnically cleansing the Palestinian people who were there first and doing the same thing to them that the Germans did to Jewish people. But by the 1960s and 70s, almost every American knew about the systematic atrocities that were inflicted upon Jewish people during the Holocaust. But still today, in 2024, almost none of them know about the systematic atrocities that were inflicted upon Africa by European colonial powers. But that's why I'm here. Because now you do know.
So recently, man, me and wifey, we was watching, the Avatar movies. And it's been a minute since I've watched these films, so I like.
It's a lot of Nubia and
my girl,
Nigerian
she pointed
culture
out,
in
she was like, "Bro,
those
they're
movies."
black people, and I was like, at first I discredited her. I was like, nah, them the Native Americans, that's how they did them. And then as we just continue to watch these films, bro, like the features on these avatars look just like black people, bro.
The Avatar franchise is 100% based off of South Sudanese people. Literally, phenotypically,
I say Nubia and Nigeria.
Dark, ethereal, otherworldly. We're not called blue-black for no reason. Names like this new character, Baran. Meanwhile, our homies on the block are called Garan. You got Luak, you got the Acholi, like Suli. It's not just the Aduts and the Anok.
She's so
because
pretty.
when you hear the language of the Na'avi, at least as a South Sudanese person, you're like, which sounds mad familiar, right? Yeah. And we've been covering ourselves in ash for centuries. It's a tradition shaped by our climate and cattle herding cultural practices.
That's one thing about our ancestors. They used ash a lot, like wood ash, for sanitation purposes. Actually, like for example, in Nigeria, they'd have these kind of toilets, where you poop inside these toilets. It'll be large holes, and they clean them with ash and boiling hot water. Because ash is rich in alkaline properties, and it basically like disinfects germs, and the boiling hot water, it also does that as well. It kills the germs actually.
All of our style, clothing, and drip down to the jewelry brought. This man is who they archetype for
Literally.
sure. Because wouldn't it be weird to see a movie with a bunch of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, tall people with axes and hammers living on boats?
Hey, that's another thing I want to bring up, y'all. Have y'all noticed that a lot of white people nowadays, and I'm not trying to talk down on y'all, but I see a lot of white people trying to live off the land. They're trying to eat clean. They're trying to basically do everything how we used to do things in Africa, using herbs, living off the
Earth.
land. And one
Like, I'll say a difference is they use stone, we use earth, compacted earth, mud brick, clay. It's actually kind of funny. It's like it's a difference. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a difference. We use the natural properties around us without hurting the planet. And like even then for like roads, we didn't use stone. Excuse me, we used dirt or potsherd. Potsherd is like potsherd pavements were like these simple cut up pieces of pottery or little pieces of rocks turned into like simple roads. They'd be put together kind of in like these patterns, and they'd make roads out of these in ancient Nigeria, in Ife. Just so insane, bro, and a lot of people don't know about it.
point in time, they call us uncivilized for doing this, but now they want to go and do the things that they were clowning us for doing. I just find it so ironic.
And then our ancestors also used a lot of moats because, in the southern forest areas, it rained a lot.
Viking culture.
A lot of flooding, so they use moats to combat that.
Matter. It's all made up anyway. Well, Kat, no, it's not. You're actually telling the story of real people, like Pocahontas. It's fiction rooted in real people, which in this case erases those people from.
Yes, Pocahontas is so insane to me. Why was that movie ever made? Like, Native Americans should be so pissed off. The Powhatan tribe, to be exact, should be so pissed off. I wonder if they've ever sued Disney for that. I don't wonder if Disney or DreamWorks made that movie. I think it was Disney. I wonder if they ever sued them for making that fucking movie, because that's so insane to me.
Only to be
that they actually made that movie.
Myth, which is problematic because fiction becomes fact when it's the only version that people ever see. Ask any indigenous person how real Pocahontas turned out. And as a filmmaker myself, my commitment to the craft is about the truth, because good filmmakers want to tell the most authentic version of a story, even if it's fictional. Exploitative filmmaking doesn't aim to tell the most honest story. They go for the cheapest version that appeals to the widest market. And that market is usually shaped towards the most basic, flattened understanding of a people or culture.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's true. And it's not even disrespect, it's true.
Could Zoe Saldana play Nina Simone? Sure. Would it be the most honest rendition of that story?
No.
Probably not. And why does this matter in context to Avatar? Because it takes the cultural and underdog humanness of a place like South Sudan, the youngest country in the world, which quite literally defied every odd to gain its sovereignty, and attributes all that world building to Hollywood. And I promise you that Hollywood is not building the future. It just continues to cosplay and recycle these types of stories, strips them for aesthetics, repackages them with CGI, AI, and then calls it innovation. But this is why I love AI, because it is democratizing means of production. So I don't have to wait for my story to be greenlit. So if you truly love Avatar and you want to support the real life people and culture that inspire that type of storytelling, I would love and appreciate your follow and share. Okay, bye.
This is just a quick little video, and you know, I want to do history lessons like this with y'all all the time, and also kind of dibble into the conspiracy theories. Every time, most of these conspiracy theories, they turn out to be true. You know, sometime down the line. Listen, man, just know that, bro, your blackness is beauty, man. You know, the darker the berry, like the better. Like I say this all the time, bro. At one point in time, I wish I was
No
black,
doubt.
but now in my current state, I really wish I was dark. You know what I'm saying? I wanna be like those South Sudanese people. Shout out to them.
Man,
They
what?
the most beautiful people in the world to me. But listen, y'all, take everything these folks tell you with a grain of salt. Remember, history is his story. Okay, man? So, yeah.
Hey man, as usual, that was a really good video by my brother Antonio Talks, man. We had a very intellectual conversation in this video. It was 26 minutes long, this video, because I was doing a lot of talking. Yeah, I won't do too much talking now. If you did enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe so I can continue giving you guys these videos. And I'll see you next time.